finally done. The draft is done. Broncos country, we're here to break it down. Woo. We'll tell you about the players who bring the power. This is horsepower.
Broncos country, what's going on? We're back. It's Horsepower Hour. We're going to give you a training camp preview. We're talking about the jobs that are on the line, the position battles we're keeping an eye on. Of course, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to smash that like and subscribe, not only to David Talks Broncos, but wherever you're watching. Jeremy's channel at Broncos Unbridled, Kodiak Broncos, or on Mark's show at Marky Sports. This video is also presented to you by Prize Picks. We'll get to one later on in the show, but been a little while since, well, I guess it's been a week. Congratulations, Jeremy, on Spain winning the World Cup. Do you think the Broncos can be this year's Spain?
Man, I would love it. Would they not be able to give up a touchdown in like the whole playoffs? Is that what they have to do? The other team wouldn't get a.
They didn't give up a goal for the whole World Cup.
They gave up one the whole World Cup.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah. And yeah, if you watch the final, it went into extra time. So it was 120 minutes plus extra. And they didn't get Argentina didn't get one shot on goal in 130 some minutes.
Dude,
which is insane. I don't even know that's possible, but it's possible.
Well, thankfully, we don't have too much longer to wait before we get into training camp. We got rookies reporting at the end of this week, I guess. And I guess before we go too much farther, got to give a shout out to Darian in the chat. Darian knows ball. Go follow him on YouTube, TikTok. We got Bo Leave and Nix. He's saying Alex Singleton. That's the comment. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I think we all know what it's supposed to mean. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and just get right into it. We're talking about training camp battles, but let's start out on a really positive note here. Let's talk about a guy we are planting our flag on, and you got to tell us what that means. I'm leaving this pretty vague and open-ended to hopefully generate a pretty lively discussion. Kodiak, why don't you kick us off with a guy on this 90-man roster you're planting a flag on?
Well, yes, but before we already said congrats to Jeremy, but I want to say congrats to Mr. and Mrs. Marshall for closing on that property.
Dude, that's freaking right. That's right, guys. You're going to see a new setup. Finally got a house, baby. So
yes, congrats, Mr. and Mrs. David Marshall. But either way, so as far as the guy I'm planting my flag on, guys, you know, there was a tackle who we signed as a UDFA who was very, very athletic. And over the past few years, we've done a very, very good job at, you know, developing these guys that we've kept on the team for a while. And it might take this guy a little bit of time to really get going. And I'm not sure what this means if he does end up making the 53-man roster because, you know, you already drafted Casey. You know, I think Paltro's expected to be that backup swing tackle, I guess. But Matt Pert, I got to say, your days are numbered, okay? And Frank Crum will make this team again. No doubts about it. But Tyler Miller, man, how fun would it be if we were able to go with only 3 interior offensive linemen? Obviously, we're going to keep Forsyth on this roster as well. But Matt Pert, your days are numbered, okay? Now it's time for us to get an actually exciting tackle, swing tackle solution as a UDFA that we're going to develop for multiple years. And hopefully he can take over for Bulls or McGlinchey when the time comes.
Dude, that's a big plan flag for this first one. UDFA Tyler Miller. And before we break this down a little bit more, Kodiak, tell us a little bit about him, why you like him.
So when I was watching Iowa State back, you know, I watched Iowa State a little bit back from 2024 and 2025 when Miller was a starter for them. And one thing that immediately sticks out to him that stuck out to me when I was watching him and watching that Iowa State offensive line move, he's quick. He's quick, man. Like, he's very quick. He's very prototypical for, I think, what the Broncos look for because they like athletes at the offensive line, okay? The reason they've been able to hold up and pass pro so well is because of the fact that, hey, we like our guys who can play at altitude. You know, even though they've gotten lighter on the offensive line, it still has paid dividends, particularly in pass blocking, especially late in the fourth quarters during games. But either way, Tyler Miller, man, he is an absolute beast. He's an absolute athletic demon. And you know what? It's prototypical. It's what we like at that position. I mean, McGlinchey's 6'8". I think Tyler Miller's not that far off from 6'8" as well. So, yeah.
Ooh, let's go. And I'm curious, like how you guys see the rest of the room. I was talking about this with Mike a little bit on our Believe in Broncos podcast, but we're talking about the offensive line with Frank Crum and Palczewski. Do you guys see those players as a little bit different? Do you think like Frank Crum is better suited for the right side or the left side? Like, where do you guys see his long-term development at? Because we've seen him, I think, at a little bit at left tackle. Jeremy, thoughts? You got any?
I mean, just let me check the depth chart. He is right now backing up Garrett Bowles on the left side. So officially. So that is, I'm assuming where they're thinking his best area would be. And if fortunately and unfortunately for him, hopefully Garrett, he's, he hasn't been better. Like he's been fantastic. I mean, for as long as he's played, he is still in his prime. So hopefully he can stay healthy and stay locked in. I think he was in the top 100, probably one of the highest rated Bronco on there. So he's probably behind him, and hopefully he keeps progressing, and hopefully we don't know about it because we don't see him on the field.
Yeah.
But yeah, left is probably, I think, where they like him the most. But hey, if we can get throwing in passes for touchdowns in the playoffs, that's fine. We could do that.
I know. He might be a better tight end. We'll just have to figure it out. Now, Darian's in here saying, I like our own O-line depth. Broncos like Pouch on the right side. I would still like to see him at right tackle starting in the future, maybe here in a year or two. Then at guard, that's just me. Maybe they would have moved off Powers for sure. Offensive line, this is going to be a fun one to watch because although I think it's very, very likely Ben Powers comes, and is on this team week one, you do have some guys that could make the argument that, maybe you could get some cost savings in Ben Powers. Any other thoughts, Jeremy, before we get on to who you're planting your flag on for training camp?
No, it's going to be interesting. The Powers thing was like the one kind of area where we kind of circled. There could be some movement there. But there's basically no such thing as depth, good depth in the NFL at the offensive line. So when you have that, like, you don't just go, oh, we don't need this guy anymore. Like, right. You got to you're one play away from having a huge hole in your team. So I think I like where we're at. And it's going to be fun to watch to see where all the chips fall.
I love it, man. Well, let's get to your plant flag, man. We got Tyler Miller from Kodiak.
Okay.
Who's yours?
So you could go with someone like Jonah Coleman coming in, trying to break through that room. I thought about him. I've already talked about guys like Red Murdoch and Terry Young York. I think they have a really good opportunity. But I'm going to plant my flag behind a guy that we've watched for 2 seasons now. And with some off the field stuff happening in front of him, I think this could really open it up for this guy, Jonah Ellis. I think Jonah Ellis, this could be his time to shine. He could come in, take that position, and not give it up. He has dealt with some injuries, but he's got the pedigree. I think he's, put on some size, and I really, really have high expectations for his development and where he's going to be this year.
Let's go. Thoughts on that, Kodiak?
Yeah, no, Ellis has a tremendous opportunity ahead of him. And everybody who is in this edge room with the Cooper situation is going to have to play a step above where they were this past year. And they're going to have to play a step above where they are, entering this offseason, or where they were before the whole Cooper situation happened, which means, the third guy has to play in the role of the second guy. The fourth guy has to play the role of the third guy, etc. But yeah, no, Ellis has a tremendous opportunity ahead of him. Thought he looked fantastic his rookie year. It felt like last year, even though when he was on the field, he was still good, it felt like it just really never materialized in a way that we were hoping. But that being said, I think a lot of that was because of the fact that he was injured. And whenever, like I said, we did see him he was still a very, very good player. He still showed a lot of promise for the future. And I think he's still only 22 or 23 years old, right? He's still a very, very young player. So, yeah, I really like him. And, Robinson, Tillman, even the back end guys like Drew Sanders or Johnny Walker, they all have a good opportunity with the Cooper situation unfolding.
Yeah, man. I'm thrilled to see what Jonah Ellis can do. And it's kind of strange, guys. Like, shouldn't we be hearing about an update with the Jonathan Cooper stuff here pretty shortly? I thought that he had like some court hearings or stuff like that delayed until late July. So maybe the NFL is waiting on that. But I would imagine we're going to hear about a suspension or no suspension here within the next, I don't know, 4 weeks or so.
Yeah. I mean, whether he goes to prison or not, we should plan as if we're not going to have him for, I mean, the standard's like the first 6 games, right? But you never know with the NFL, okay? You never know with the NFL. So not going to have him week 1. I can almost guarantee you, whether that's, something happening with his roster status or him just getting suspended. We're not going to have him for the first like month or so of the year. I think we should plan to have without.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's gonna be fun to see how things shake out with the rest of that edge room. If Drew Sanders can stay healthy, that might be a fun battle between him and Johnny Walker for possibly the last spot at that group on the roster. Darian saying, hey, he likes the safety depth battle. He still has hope in JL Skinner. I do too. I like Skinner. It's just taking him a while to put together. Hey, if maybe he can be like Justin Sternad, right? He didn't put it together until like his final year of rookie deal to where he seemed like a playable player, right? So we'll have to see. And yeah, NFL will always wait until after the court stuff happens. Well, maybe we'll have him the whole year. We'll see. But the guy that I'm planting the flag on, I mean, there are a lot of random Broncos on this 90-man roster that I'm very excited about, that I want to see make the 53. But Kodiak, I got to go back to a tweet you sent out earlier today and talking about it. Had to do with the linebackers.
Yes.
You said something along the lines of, I like both Red Murdoch and Torian York, but I only see one of those guys making the team. Now, hey, maybe that's true. On my 53 right now, I got both of them. But if there's one guy that's going to make the 53 out of both of them, I think it's going to be Torian York, man. And I think he just fell because he's a little small. Mm-hmm. But again, he's got all the traits you're looking for. Was a captain, got captain votes as a true freshman at Texas A&M, all conference guy, somebody who is incredibly intelligent, plays with anticipation. Of course, Red Murdoch shares some of those qualities as well, but I just feel like he might have a little bit more coverage chops and sideline to sideline speed. We'll see how each of them transition to playing special teams in the NFL, because that's going to play a big role in who's able to stick on the roster. But I've really, this entire offseason, have seen Torian York as like that 8th draft pick that we've had, man. And I think he's got a wonderful shot to make the roster. I think he will. And maybe him and Tyler Miller are the 2 UDFAs that make the team. If not, I'll say this: he's the only UDFA that makes the team. So we'll have to see. But are you guys like high on Jordan Turner, some of these other guys that are competing at inside linebacker?
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Sorry, my daughter asked me a question right when you were asking that, David.
Oh, no, you're good. I can go.
I thought you just had a big thought you had to get off your chest.
Yeah, me too. That's why I want to.
Yeah, no, I was like, what?
Yeah.
She wanted some Chex Mix if anybody wanted to know.
Oh. Yummy. I love Chex Mix.
Yeah. So say that again. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So basically, Jeremy, we were talking about, what we were talking about was, okay, the inside linebacker room, are you really in support of any of these other guys? Like, David thinks that York is going to make the 53, particularly over Murdoch. But
I heard all that. I just didn't hear the last question.
Any of these dudes like Turner, Bailey, or Reed, Freddie Reed?
I think Lavelle Bailey's got a little bit more just because he knows him there. He's been in the room for longer. But yeah, my head tells me only one of those guys is going to make it as well, just numbers wise. It's hard to be like, hey, two seemingly undrafted guys, rookies, make, the 53.
Right.
Because you got to trust those guys to be playing special teams, be caught up on all that, and be having rookies do that. That's just probably not feasible. And it's probably going to come down to who they think can they slip onto the practice squad. But man, if we only had either one of them, if we only had one of them, I would say that guy's going to make it. But now, in fact, we have two. I don't know which one's going to make it. York, undersized, but he's Jacob Rodriguez, but undersized. And Murdoch's he just gets stuff done. He just separates the ball from the other team. You know what I mean? So that's invaluable. So I really don't know, but I'm excited to see where the room goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Real quick, we had Cody in here. Y'all go check him out. Still Up Sports. He's on his way to 150 subs now. Smash the like. Hey, I feel like it just comes with the territory. If you're talking Broncos, I feel like all of us have different linebackers here that we're hopeful that are going to be good behind the starters. But Computer Blue brings up a good point here. I just hope someone steps up for the linebackers, please. And when you're looking behind Alex Singleton, Justin Sternad, I'm going to be a little upset if we finish the season still feeling like behind those guys, we just got another group of guys where nobody is really separating themselves out of the pack to kind of be that next guy. So Kodiak, who do you think makes the roster at the linebacker position then?
So between Murdoch and York, I'll still go Murdoch. Because, we had already mentioned that we only have room for basically 4 linebackers on this team. I think 5 or 6 would be just a complete waste. And you know what? Hey, if Drew Sanders makes it, you've got position solved at 2, or you got a solution at 2 positions, I guess, in edge and inside linebacker. But no, because of the fact that Vance Joseph is so conservative at deploying rookies and, not only that, you're facing an uphill battle with that, but also, we've seen the way the Broncos value the linebacker position. They value specific traits that we just can't see. We can't see. We're not in the meeting rooms. And you know what? That's basically the entire selling point of bringing back guys like Singleton. So they have different priorities for the linebacker position. That being said, I think it's Murdoch and I think it's Jordan Turner. Okay. Between Lavelle Bailey, Karene Reed, and Jordan Turner, I've said this to you guys. They're all the same dude, just with different colleges and different backgrounds and different names. That's just really how I view them. But York, the problem with York is not only are you making, I have no qualms about him, making the roster as a 5'10", 5'9", or whatever linebacker. But the other problem is your special teams does get a little small if you are carrying him too. So I think the Broncos are going to opt for a guy like Turner, who was their most deployed special teamer at this point last year. So yes, I think it's ultimately going to be Murdoch and Turner.
Man. And then, we can't count out guys like Karene Reed, Lavelle Bailey, some of these guys. If Bailey could have kind of a bounce back year, I still think he could end up on the 53. Hansi saying we might as well just talk about the JL Skinner linebacker conversion incoming. Maybe that's what we do. I don't know. We need some juice in this linebacker room. No doubt about it. And, Skinner could – I still like Skinner. I still feel like he's got the ability to be a really special safety, but it's about putting it together, which he hasn't necessarily done that yet. So if he can't, Tyson Anderson will take his job. Now, do you guys think both JL Skinner and Tyson Anderson will be on this roster, or do you kind of see it as – what we had last year with maybe Sam Franklin coming in competing against JL Skinner as well, and one of them ends up cut? Jeremy?
We lost PJ Locke, so that's the spot that kind of opens up. But Devin Key's still there.
Yeah.
And Skinner was maybe our best special teamer gunner. So that's pretty valuable. Yeah, I'm still saying it's going to be hard to crack, obviously the starting, but it's going to come down to special teams and stuff like that. So I think Skinner's probably leader in the clubhouse, but yeah, that's probably where I would lean on that. But I don't think both would. Something will give on that, especially if Key sticks.
Yeah. Kodiak.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think there's only realistically one spot for those two guys. And, regarding Jail Skinner, I know that Broncos country wants something different. And I think a lot of that was just because, anytime we've seen him actually playing defense, it hasn't been that good. But you know what? There comes a point where, okay, maybe David's right. Maybe it is like Justin Sternad, where, okay, at his natural position, he doesn't put it together until he, later on in his rookie deal. And that's fine. It's okay to be a late bloomer in the NFL, even at a position like safety. It's not one of those where you typically hear about late bloomers, but Jail Skinner, I still think he has the inside track. Yeah. And you guys brought up Sam Franklin. Remember giving him that fully guaranteed special teams contract. Then he got cut before we ultimately released.
He went to Buffalo.
Yeah. Good for him. But as far as that spot in particular, I mean, I know why it seems like everybody kind of wants it to be Anderson just strictly for the defense sake. But then again, if you're not playing on the Bengals defense, I brought this up a lot. If you couldn't get consistent playing time on the Bengals defense over the past 2 years, and it's been the worst defensive unit in the league, what makes us think that he's going to be able to come here and be able to fill in for Jones or Hufanga if something happens to them, even if he's only the fourth guy on the depth chart. So, I don't know. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be fun to watch Skinner and Anderson. And I think, I don't have any preference either way. But, Skinner, we know he's a dog on special teams. Anderson, we're hoping that he can be a dog on special teams. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way, even when you sign guys off the street.
Oh, I forgot it was a fully guaranteed deal that we gave Sam Franklin last year. So was Tyson Anderson's as well this year?
I don't think so. I think Tyson Anderson's was like very minuscule.
Okay. Yeah, and I imagine he's coming out here with the Robert Livingston connection because before he was at CU, he was with the Bengals coaching the secondary. So I think there was a little bit of overlap between both of them at Cincinnati. We'll see. I don't really have super high expectations for our back-end safeties. I don't even know if Miles Scott will make the roster, but Zach Seegers seems to be really high on Miles Scott. Seems to think that he's going to be a day one special teams ace for us too, which could be great. I want to talk about tight ends though, guys. I had to throw Evan Ingram in the thumbnail. We've talked about it. Posing this question to you. We'll start with Jeremy and then get to Kodiak. What does Justin Jolie have to do to make Evan Ingram expendable in training camp?
I mean, Evan doesn't do like a whole lot of like the blocking. He's kind of the Joker role, if you will. If like that's what they wanted to call literally every offensive weapon we have. I think he's going to have to show just like, obviously he's got to know the playbook front to back. He's got to be a reliable, release valve for Bo and somebody that they can trust to make the tough catch. I just still don't. I mean, I think that's a tall task though to be like, hey, you're gonna unseat Evan Ingram. I don't think that probably is gonna happen. I think that last year was kind of like the initiation of everything, and now it's like I'm expecting more out of Evan Ingram. If it doesn't happen, like I don't know what that was, but yeah, I don't think he should go into training camp with the expectations to try to take his job. I would just come in with know the playbook front to back. It's so hard for tight ends to have big years as rookies because they have to learn basically two positions. You have to learn all the blocking and all the receiving routes. So it's just a really big task to ask. I think he can do the receiving stuff. It's just going to come down to the truck when it comes to the other stuff.
Yeah. Is there anything, Kodiak, that he can do? Or let me just even throw in Caleb Warner. Caleb Warner do anything?
Okay, so As far as Caleb Lohner, that is a complete wild card. Like, it would not surprise me if he comes in and has days where he just looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It also wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't make if he's like a 90-man or 75-man roster cut. Like, I'm not even kidding, because you guys remember in the preseason last year, I remember he got like 5 snaps against Arizona or something, and 3 of them were penalties. So I know that
they were all in a row.
Yeah, I know. So I know Sean Payton talked about his improvement. We're all like, whoa. Still think it's an uphill battle, but man, if he can make it, if he can make the 53-man roster, man, that'll be very fun for our sake. My expectations for him are still low. Like, I know David wants it for the memes and the content. Like, how would you feel if Lohner's able to make this team?
If Lohner doesn't, I'll be devastated. But if he makes this team, I'm definitely ordering a fake Lohner jersey from China. Like, I'm absolutely doing that. Hey, maybe I'll even order ones for the whole show.
Yeah, exactly. I'll put them right next to Hufanga and Palcho and Moss back there.
Yeah, but the bong hit pick hitting, turning into our Julius Thomas this year, that's the one thing we're missing to help Bo reach, 5,000 yards this year is truly a tight end. But man, when I was doing like my Bo Nix yard projections, it's just hard for me to see Evan Ingram getting a much of a bigger share than what he got when he's not on the field half the time. And then when you're going to be hopefully spamming Jalen Waddle so often, like, it's been hard for me to see a big uptick in production from Marvin Mims, from Ingram. I still think we'll see one in Pat Bryant, like a little bit, but Troy Franklin, I don't think he's going to come close to 700 yards this year. So anyways, that was a little bit of a tangent, but I'll get to a few of the comments here. Or did you have something you were going to say, Kodiak?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, regarding Ingram, that's exactly why I don't think Jolie, straight up, I don't think Jolie has to do a lot. I think all it's going to take is like 2 or 3 days of the beat reporters tweeting, hey, Justin Jolie looked good today. And then, with those, what's it called? With, the yards you talked about with Ingram, for me, it wasn't about the raw value in receiving that we got from him last year. It was, why is this guy not out there at third down? Why is this guy not out there? Why are we not utilizing him more in the red zone? And yes, he did make a couple plays last year. I don't want to take that away from him. You think about the Eagles game, you think about the Commanders game, think about the Chargers game. Those were all huge, huge plays where Evan Ingram made those clutch catches. But, for me, it's not about the tight end. It's less about the raw yardage and more about, that situational, how do I put this? It's more of a situational position above all else. Like, how often can you go to them on third down, red zone, etc., that I already talked about. And once again, that's why I think Jolie kind of has the inside track. It's a very tough position to be relying on rookies to come in and be dynamic. But Jolie, I don't think really has to do that. I just genuinely don't, because Ingram is so one-dimensional that I feel like it just holds back so many other things with this team. And it's unfortunate, because I was really excited when we signed him. But, I'm looking at Ingram and I'm just like, where does he fit in with our pass catchers?
Big question mark. And I think we'll see it answered here in just a couple of weeks. We'll start getting answers to that with what the B reporters say. Andy's in here saying Bentley clears Lohner. I feel we do not slander Caleb Lohner here in the NFL. Not at all. Now everybody's fighting with Andy. Darian saying Lohner still feels like a year from being still a year away from being a year away. Wow. I just thought you were trying to say he was still another year away. Wow, nope. Darian, really? No. Hot take coming in. We will see Caleb Lohner activated for at least one game this year. It might not happen initially, but I will say I think that Evan Ingram's seat is a little bit hotter than maybe other people would anticipate for some of the reasons that you broke down. We'll see how the Davis-Webb friendship plays into that this year. But if you're talking about Jolie, somebody that doesn't drop passes, same with Dallin Bentley. If Jolie doesn't drop an entire pass throughout training camp or in the preseason, it might give people some thoughts, man, especially if Ingram's drop woes continue.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to say is that Jolie is making this team regardless. It's just whether or not it's kind of like last year. I talk about this all the time. With Franklin and Bryant. They showed enough to where you kicked Vele out the door. And once again, that was primarily the Saints, calling you and offering you a deal that you couldn't refuse. But also, Franklin, when he made that catch on 4th down against the 49ers, where he leapt like 4 feet in the air to snag that ball out of midair, I think that's when people were just like, all right, this guy's going to have a bigger role in the offense, against Arizona when Pat Bryant was going absolutely nuclear. Okay. Once again, Jolie doesn't have to be a ton because he will already make this team. It's just, do you feel comfortable enough with Jolie at his position to where you're, replacing him in Ingram's role early on in the season? And you know what? It'll be interesting to find out.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, real quick. Let's go through the. So if Jolie's making the roster, Kroll's gone, I'm assuming.
Yes. I mean, Kroll should be gone anyway, but yes.
Yeah, I'm just I'm
planting a reverse flag on Lucas Kroll.
Yeah, that was the easy. But so Loner making it, yes or no? Do you think? No. Think
so.
Okay.
If he was healthy coming into training camp, that would have been my hottest take. That he's making the roster, but it's not happening.
So even with that, though, there's still probably one more cut. Is it going to be Atkins, Troutman, Bentley, or Ingram?
I think Ingram's the easiest cut out of all those. Like, as much as I would have loved for them to find a different tight end besides Troutman, you made financial investments in him, which it is what it is. And I think the only 2 true locks for this room, I think, are Troutman and Jolie. Okay. Bentley, man, I think he's a dog. I think we're all really, really excited about what Dallin Bentley can do. And Adkins, I didn't think Adkins was good last year. I'm just going to be so for real. But you know what? He still carries a lot of trust from this coaching staff. And you know what? Fine. I'll give him one more year. Hopefully he can regain the form from 2024 and not what we saw last year.
Yeah, someone stole his root beer vapes last year, but he is the most versatile by playing the fullback position, blocking, and receiving. I honestly think he was probably the best tight end on the roster 2 years ago. So, it's going to be interesting. I'm with you on Bentley and Jolie. I think those are like the most, have the best trajectory upwards. Loner's just like, I honestly have zero clue. I would have said Loner's gone 100% until Sean was like, you know who I think is really good? Caleb Loner. And you're like,
yeah.
Wow, okay. And that, to me, I don't even trust that. I honestly don't. I keep hearing saying that just to have all the, beat reporters go off on a tangent for a week. But I really don't know. I really wanted Dallin Bentley in the draft, and I really like Justin Jolie in the draft too. So that's what I'm basically banking it on. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because as rookies, it's going to be hard to crack guys that have been in the system for 2-3 years.
And I think we'll keep all 4 of these guys and Nate Atkins. I just think we'll only carry 3 running backs right now.
Okay, so what 3 running backs?
JK, RJ, and Jonah Coleman.
I was about to say that part's easy.
So, okay. So, I mean, that would be but okay, so that you're like.
So essentially Nate Atkins is, your 4th back because he's a fullback too. Right?
Yeah. So, okay. And then you'd be dropping Prentice, and then you'd be dropping Bidet and
McLaughlin. Yeah. Okay. That's probably what I do because, hey, you draft Jonah Coleman in the 4th round to give him carries. And, yeah. I don't really think Bidet or McLaughlin were that great on returning either. So
no, they were bad on actual offense, but they really sucked at returning.
Yeah, it's like Jonah Coleman could return kicks. I know he's kind of a thumper, but I still think he could do it, dude. He could at least run through some guys.
Tyler Bidet lost his spot when he didn't have the balls to go for it on that 4th down punt in the Buffalo game.
Thank you, Bidet. Thank you for your services, Bidet. Thank you for your services making us check out of a punt or a fake punt on 4th and 11 in overtime. And thank you additionally for getting off the team because of that. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
He killed himself, saved our season.
I love it. Yeah.
No, but Bidet, okay, so Hansi, I don't know how you say your name, Hansi BK. I always see you in the Discord. I always see
I
you.
always say
What's
Hansi.
up? He says no need to use a spot on Prentice. I kind of agree. If something happens to Atkins, though, because Atkins was in and out a lot last year, I would very, very much like Prentice to be back on the practice squad because you got a few carries, which were absolutely magical. Then he says, Bidet and Kroll are the 2 dudes I'd least like to see in a Broncos uniform next year. Hey, you know what? I'm right there with you. I'll be pretty upset if Jalil returns again, but I think he will, unfortunately, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else I would be pissed off if they made this roster. Actually, maybe I just need to plant my flag on Sam Ellinger, man.
There you go.
Overtaking Jarrett Stidham. But Jarrett Stidham, he's got to come out and light the world on fire in preseason, man, if I'm going to get back on the Stiddy City train with him being the QB2 for the entire season. But that's going to be a fun one to watch between him and Ellinger. Where do you guys see that going right now?
I think if Ellinger's neck and neck, I think he'll probably get it from the, just financial standpoint. And I think they really like him. He had opportunities to go with other teams. Other teams wanted him. He said no. That tells me something. And Stidham, man, that one errant mistake in that championship game, like that's a big play to mess up because that took everybody from being like, oh, I'm so glad we have Jarrett Stidham to, oh, I wish we didn't have Jarrett Stidham in one play, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, but yeah, it's going to come down to financials, and I think they like Ellinger. So yeah.
Kodiak?
Dang. Okay. Man, I just think there's something about Stidham that they won't be able to quit. I think because of the fact that he was able to play in the AFC Championship. I think, it's not just the Broncos. I think a lot of teams, the ones that really needed a quarterback this offseason, I think, Arizona, the Jets, and the Dolphins, I think they were just like, well, AFC Championship game starter, Jarrett Stidham. And I think the Broncos are kind of in that boat as well. I think they're just going to be like, well, he has big game experience, even though it didn't really go anywhere. But I mean, if it comes down to financials, it is what it is. But yeah, I still think Stidham has the inside track because we like our dudes. This coaching staff, for better or for worse, really values continuity, and he's been with us since 2023. So
he's a great listener, from what I hear.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it is what it is.
Right. Well, before we continue on, guys, got to give a quick shout out to Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick app. And right now, guys, I got a new promotion going on. Okay. A new promotion. Let me go ahead and pull this up. If you play $5 and you win, you get $150. So sign up for Prize Picks. Link is in the description. Use that code HMA. And before we get going on, we're going to do, let's see, a receiving yards one. I think that would be fun. We'll each pick one, and then we will disperse the winnings if we hit them. I'll start us off here. Javonte Williams. Over or under 224.5 receiving yards?
What did he have last year? Do we know?
I got no idea, but I don't think Dallas has anybody. Is Jadon Blue getting on the field?
I feel like his third down skill set, I feel like he's on the field a lot. Like, remember in 2024 when he was like terrible and we still kept him on the team and we still played him a lot? I think that was largely because of his third down skill set. So, I'll go with the over there.
Dude, let's go. Let me know if you guys find another one that you like. Kodiak, Jeremy.
Sorry, I was still looking up Javonte's receiving yards.
All right. How about this one? Kenyon Sadiq, 449.5 yards.
How much? 449 for the...
Yeah. You're doing what?
For the Jets. That's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. I'll go I'll go over because I
You'll
feel
go over.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not confident about it, but I who else? I mean, I think they're going to be excited to try to be like, hey, we got Kenyon Sadiq, everybody. Like, come out to, East Rutherford and watch Kenyon Sadiq catch 5 passes. It'll probably accumulate over 4. I mean, I think that's probably, yeah.
Okay. We got an over on Kenyon Sadiq. Okay. Kodiak, over under 624.5 for Xavier Worthy this year.
I'm going to say over just because who else is there? Okay, you have questions about Rashi. Kelsey's getting really old. I didn't really see it with Jalen Royals as a prospect, so I think just on pure volume, I think Worthy, props on them because I think it's going to be close either way. But yeah, I think I'll go with over there.
Dude, let's go. Well,
you see they had Waddle at 850, 849 and a half.
Dude, he's going to get over 1,000. We all know that.
He'd better.
Well, shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring the show. We'll get back to it, guys. See here. Before we wrap up, any last hot Broncos takes before we get into training camp? We saw that Bo Nix was ranked, what was it, number 59 in the NFL, ahead of 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson, which I love that. We'll have to see. But do you guys think we'll see – what other Broncos do you see named in the top 100 before we wrap up? I mean, we imagine Pat Surtain will be there.
He was.
Okay.
Top 10.
Okay.
I think I saw the list. Let me see. Let me pull it
Really?
up.
I thought they were still releasing the list.
No, well, they are, but I think they came out with I saw the whole how many Broncos were on their total. So somebody got the
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Well, then we'll be able to guess who they are.
No.
Because I was
I
hoping
can let you
Garrett
guess
Bowles
and then
was
tell
going
you
to
if
be
you're
on
right
the
or right.
list. I'm scared for some reason that he gets snubbed.
Where did I see that? But yeah, I think Pat came in top 10. I think he's like 7th or something.
No, they released solo lists, I thought. Oh, PFN is doing one. You might have seen that. Yeah. I haven't seen the full either. But I'm hoping we still see Garrett Bowles, Benito, Hufanga, Surtain, Quinn Miners. So that would put us at 8 in the top 100, right? They had Pat at 9. Sometimes they show the individual players lists. Gotcha.
So Zach Allen was 73.
Mm-hmm.
Cortland was 68. Bo was 59. And that's all. I know I saw more. I saw the other ones, but yeah, who else would be on there? I mean, maybe Hufanga, but
I'm going to be pissed if Hufanga wasn't, because he was all pro last year.
I saw some lists where they didn't even rank him in the top 10 safeties. And I'm like, how is that possible?
You want to hear something hilarious? I saw there was an NFL YouTuber named Tub Frog who ranked every single player in the NFL, and he had Alex Singleton at number 95. Keep in mind, this is every single player in the NFL, but he had Hufanga one spot higher than him at 94. Which I absolutely loved. I was like, what?
Dude, Alex Singleton, top 100 player. Let's go.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. Man, I got this weird feeling that Huff's going to get snubbed too.
Dude, all he had to do was catch like 2 of those passes, and he gets on that list.
No, dude. And that was weird to see. He's like, oh, I had the broken wrist. Dude, your wrist is not your palm, dude. It's not your hands, bro.
Yeah, I get it. If he could catch, he'd be playing offense, but still, come on.
I know, man. It's crazy. Yeah, Darian saying Miners, Bowles, Pat, Nick Benito.
Yeah. I don't think Pat's making top 100.
You don't think what?
Oh, Pat Surtain. I was thinking Pat Bryant.
Oh,
I always hear
oh, yeah.
PS2. I don't hear Pat
Yeah.
usually. So,
Yeah. Pat Surtain will be in there. He'll hopefully be in the top 10. He should be.
yeah, he's top 10 for sure.
Yeah. I guess we'll find that out soon enough. Guys, got to shut this thing down. But I appreciate us being able to get a horsepower hour in, one before we get rookies reporting to training camp. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll have like real stuff to talk about by the time we get together next week, which is going to be freaking awesome. So y'all be sure to subscribe to all the channels in the description. Kodiak, before we go, any other content coming up, and tell the people where they can find you too.
Yeah, of course. So follow me on YouTube or TikTok at Kodiak Broncos. And I will, once again, I've been so lazy this summer because, they haven't really given us that much to talk about. But I will put a video. I think it will be a video about the guys with the most to prove this upcoming training camp. So look out for that. Yeah, most to prove. And yeah, we'll have a fun one there. But yeah, super duper excited because next week we actually have things to talk about.
Dude, that's right. Well, big shout out to the chat. Hansi, Darian. Who else we had in here? Andy, NFL, Joshua saying, go ahead and write down an L for the Jags game. Whoa. We'll see about that. All right. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
It's finally done. The draft is done. Broncos country, we're here to break it down. Woo! We'll tell you about the players who bring the power. This is horsepower.